everybody, happy Monday. Woke up this morning to some bad news that legendary reggae artist Jimmy Cliff passed away at the age of 81. If you're not familiar with reggae or you're not familiar with his music, he was enormously influential. He had a lot of success making his own records, but he also helped to produce and promote a bunch of other records. I first became aware of Jimmy Cliff when the soundtrack to the 1972 film The Harder They Come came out. Jimmy Cliff starred in The Harder They Come, and he played the main character. The soundtrack features a lot of his own music, but also music of other artists like Desmond Decker, the Melodians, Toots and the Maytals, other kind of legends of the music. The soundtrack itself was pretty popular and got some airplay on a local radio station here in Chicago called WXRT. One of my sisters bought the soundtrack. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She didn't buy it. She got it as a birthday present, I think. Probably 73, 74, somewhere in that time frame. The film came out in 72. And we played that thing just all the time in our house. We played it till the grooves wore out, as the saying goes. And it just had an enormous influence on me because I had never heard anything like it before. I'm a white kid from the suburbs, and all of a sudden there's this just, unbelievable music coming out of the stereo speakers, and it really had a big impact. But Jimmy Cliff had an impact way beyond just our living room. He was a big influence on The Clash, a big influence on Joe Strummer. They actually did a song together called Over the Border. Came out sometime in the 90s, I want to say. It had most likely came out in the 90s since Joe died in 2002. But anyway, Joe when he played with the Mescaleros, would do the song The Harder They Come, which I was just playing around with there in concert all the time. And there is even a Harder They Come reference in a Clash song from London Calling called The Guns of Brixton, which is one of the few songs that the bass player Paul Simonon sang. And there's a verse where he says, his name is Ivan, born under the Brixton sun. His game is called Survivin'. At the end of The Harder They Come. And that's a reference to Ivan, the character that Jimmy Cliff plays in the movie The Harder They Come. Paul Simonon was a huge reggae fan. I guess that's kind of the music of the neighborhood that he grew up in London, and that kind of fed into the Clash's reggae influence with songs like their cover of Junior Murvin's Police and Thieves, and also some of their own original stuff, White Man and the Hammersmith Palais, Rudy Can't Fail, I don't know, dozens of songs that were influenced by reggae. But it's a huge, huge loss, and for reggae, it's a loss maybe not quite as dramatic as Bob Marley passing away in 1979, 80, or whenever he died. But in general, it's up there with John Lennon, with Prince, with Aretha Franklin, with Janis Joplin, and Jimmy Page, and not Jimmy Page. No, he's not dead. Jimi Hendrix and Joe Strummer himself. So it's really a monumental loss. It's a terrible day. I mean, he lived a very long life and a very good life. He was making records up until just a couple of years ago, but nonetheless, it's a very sad thing. So, it's just one of those things that happens. But God bless Jimmy Cliff. Hope he's resting in power, as the saying goes.